Gonna continue off from my trade last night at 1 a.m. If you looked at my last video, on my last entry, it was this breakdown on gold, and there's some good reactions in there, and a bit of live charting. So that first loss was £90. As you can see there, that was the loss last night at like 1 in the morning. And then we made that back, recouped our loss today on the NASDAQ with a lovely short trade. And yeah, it was a break and retest model. And I secured £208.94 for 719 pips. So we'll just say 72 points. Yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, today, no red folder news, which was pretty nice. And, you know, I'm not going to complain. Tomorrow, we're not going to need to trade. Yeah, so pretty much what we're looking at, if we go into the 4 hour, you know, I've removed some of the drawings off my chart. I'll just close it out for now. All right, let's go on a daily actually. So yesterday we had a big bullish candle to start the week, both on the S&P and the NASDAQ. You can see here. Now with the S&P, I'd marked out these two draws on liquidity higher up. As you can see, like on the hourly, we had this high, and on the 4 hourly, we had the all-time high. Whereas NASDAQ had already traded above it. So pretty much, if you can see in here, this candle here, you know, we just tapped the all-time high, not the all-time high, or was it? No, so we just tapped that 4 hour high, sorry. And yeah, I was expecting a reaction off this. And in terms of my draws and targets, so first off, as usual, we started with the 8 a.m. 15-minute candle, drew that out with the midpoint in it. Same on the S&P. And I was just looking to see, you know, which direction price was going to break out to, reasons for price to continue that whichever way. And so from 8 a.m. price started trading down into the open. And, you know, at this point, I was looking at it and it just kept like just missing the midpoint, trading to the bottom of the zone, bottom of the zone, bottom of the zone. And it was a similar story on the NASDAQ as well, where we took the trade. But nonetheless, you know, still had these relative equal lows from London session. And we had this low down here with a fair value gap on the 15-minute. And on the 30-minute, there was another fair value gap down here. So I'll just show you that quickly. As you can see there, mark that out. Why not? Like that would have been absolutely lovely to get that TP, but nonetheless, we closed a little bit early. So pretty much what we're looking at. So on the S&P, price had sort of already tapped these lows a couple times before the market open, and I just wanted to see the reaction from the market open, you know, before we actually traded back up into the midpoint. You know, this low had already been taken on the S&P. So I was kind of thinking, you know, maybe there's an SMT here where NASDAQ won't need to go down and take it, but it just didn't feel like that. It felt like, you know, price needs to come down, fill this in order to push up. And what was I thinking for the push up? These draws here. Granted, the NASDAQ had already been up to that high. There was still two more highs to be taken on the S&P. So again, this model is a bit more of a scalping model. And I marked out that low, these lows, and I was conscious of these fair value gaps here as potential draws before maybe a potential move up. Asia low was the full target, but I was thinking, mate, if price doesn't really need to go that far, like if we continue down here, we've got all of this liquidity, all of that. So I was thinking it needed to come down at least somewhere because we have all these orders from yesterday's PM session going into the Asia session today. And yeah, so pretty much what I was looking for a clean tap of the midpoint and a reaction off it. So I set my limit order. If we go into, how do I do it? Create limit. And I risked 2% on this trade today. So there you go, £114 stop, 334 full TP. And I closed it at 809. It was around 207, was it? So look, 208.94. So it was just a tiny bit lower. 208.9. Can we even get there from here? Okay, so we can't get there from here, but yeah, basically once price crossed this line, I was just looking to get out and just secure some profits after the loss earlier this morning. So it was nice to actually have the limit order in place to get the best possible entry. As you can see, the midpoint gets tapped perfectly and the reaction just comes straight down. So it was very, very satisfying to see this today. And yeah, in terms of the actual price action on the 1 minute, we had a bit of a whipsaw coming into the market open with the equal lows from London session getting tapped. So I was thinking about that. That was in my mind, but stuck to the model here in terms of points. Got in at 880 with the stop at 920, so it's 40 points for the stop, and as you can see, that's just above this high here. So go back into the 1 minute, and then yeah, so we closed out, I think, 72 points was basically what we secured today. And at 9:33, which is 1, 2, 3, this candle here, once we got this move down, I moved my stop to break even, just above break even, so it would have been like £5 break even profit, which would have covered any spreads or anything. So overall, closed out at 9:36, I believe. So we were in this trade for 4 minutes or so, for a nice profit of £208, which was lovely. And then, yeah, like I say, I closed out and then price inverses this and we get the reversal back up, as you can see here. So although we didn't catch the main move, managed to catch the manipulation down. Look at this. Accumulation, manipulation, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, accumulation, manipulation. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So we caught the manipulation leg here. And yeah, overall, it was nice to get this. It was very nice to get this, especially after, this clumsy trade earlier in the day, just to recoup the loss. And I think on the day we're up like 100 and something. Yeah, so on the day, 118 profit. So that's the two trades there. And that brings us down into, what are we on the month now? So we're still down on the month. That was a good recovery. So as of last night, after that trade, I was £344 in drawdown. And we're now 132. So nice little recovery there. No complaints. And to be honest, if I don't trade for the rest of the week and then That's absolutely fine. I'm gonna have a look on Thursday. I'm not gonna look tomorrow. Well, I'll watch tomorrow, but I'm not gonna trade tomorrow just because there will be so much red folder news, and it just doesn't make sense to do so, especially with all the geopolitical business going on. It just doesn't make sense for me to trade tomorrow, especially after a nice win today, recouping the losses. So yeah, in terms of gold, we can see after that manipulation down, if I just gone long there instead of going short, we would have come up very, very nicely today, all the way from like 5024 to 50. Did we hit 100? 5102, 103, and then back down again. So I would anticipate during the PM session that we go take previous daily high on gold, as we don't really need to come down just yet. So yeah, I think that's going to just about do it for me today. With all that being said, it was nice to see my risk management coming into play, and it just goes to show if your risk management is correct, then you can recoup the losses, and that is always a nice reminder. So yeah, anyway, like I say, that's going to do it for me today, and we'll be back tomorrow following all of the red folder to see what's unfolded. All right, catch you in a bit.